and hopefully getting in a routine so everybody kind of gets back in the swing of things and just it gets going. All right, so here's last year. We just want to talk about some of the really great things that happened last year. We were very proud. We worked very hard, and this was a team effort. This was between our students, our parents, our teachers, our administration, our counselors. We had a great year last year, especially when you consider all the obstacles, all the difficulties we had to work our way through. Last year was my first year to be the principal. I was assistant principal a couple of years before that. But at the very start of the year last year, we had another variant. COVID hit us again. We had to keep quarantining, and it just started out very rough. Like compared to this year's been like smooth sailing. Last year was very rough. So we started out with that. We had a lot of problems. We had a new program called Power School. If you're familiar with that, we used to have iNow. We switched to Power School. The whole state did. We'll talk about that later on if you want to log in and check your child's grades. But Power School was a very rough, bumpy transition. It was a nightmare. We couldn't, log in, do things, we had problems. So we spent the first couple of weeks. We had a lot of kids. We had to do schedule changes. Anyway, all that was last year. This year's been much better. But here's some of the good things we had last year, and we're very proud of. It's just the work we've done, and we hope to continue this. We always want to see it go in a positive trend. Our ACT scores that our juniors took last year increased overall by an average of 0.3 points, which doesn't sound like a whole lot, but when you average that across 150 students, that's a nice little jump. I mean, I'm happy with that. If we can do that every year, of course, it's hard to always go up because eventually you get to, you can't go up anymore. But we're very happy with our increase last year over the previous years. That was one of the highest average ACT scores we've had in the last 5 years. So we had a great group of juniors last year. We're looking forward to what this group can do this year. All right, so college, and that's CCR, College and Career Ready. That's what that stands for, College and Career Ready Indicators or Standards or whatever things we're looking at. We commonly refer to them as check marks. And we'll talk more about them in a minute. But when our seniors graduate, our goal is to have every one of our seniors to have a check mark. That is our goal. Now, we don't always hit that 100%, but last year, we're very proud of this. Ms. Cochran will tell you how excited we were. We hit 86% of our seniors had a check mark. As far as I could go back and check, that's the highest we ever had at Douglas High School. So we're very proud about that. Yes, thank you. Now, if you look, the previous year was 71.5. We jumped about 15% last year. That's because we really made an effort to concentrate on that, find every possible avenue for our students to get check marks, and we hounded them. I'll be honest, we hounded them, making sure we were finding every way we could possibly get them one. And I'll talk about, there's 6 ways. We have a slide coming up, I'll show you how to get that. Our graduation rate went up from 85% last year to 92.3%. And again, that was one of those things that I was real worried about because of COVID and attendance, and we had a lot of kids that were virtual the year before, and we almost couldn't find them. It's like we had to go to home visits and search them down because they weren't coming back to school. So at the start of the year last year, I was sitting there a couple of days thinking, I would almost just jump for joy if we hit 80%. Graduation rate. We're in the 80s. And we ended up, our team, our school, we worked so hard during the year, we got it up to 92.3. So I was extremely proud of that. And our goal, of course, is always to have 100%. But to have a 92.3% graduation rate with the last couple of years of COVID and everything we dealt with, we felt that was really a great achievement. All right, AP qualifying scores. This is, now, I went back and looked as far as I could look back for AP, our students to take AP classes like AP Biology, AP Language, AP Lit, AP Cal. We had 28 students that made a qualifying score. That means they scored a 3 or above. The test goes from 1 to 5. And as far as I could find, that was the highest number that I could find on record that we'd had in 1 year. So that was outstanding. Our teachers did a great job, and we were very proud of that. They also had 63 college-ready scores. That means they made a 2 or above, or they just made a 2 as a college-ready score, a 3 or above as a qualifying score. So that means they're ready for college classes. We had 63 of those, and that's a great achievement because that's not an easy class by any means. So we encourage our students to take these AP courses, to work hard, The teachers push them, they challenge them. It's not, they can go take a regular class, a much easier class, but they really have to push themselves and challenge those in those classes. And another thing we push a lot, I mentioned this a lot of different times, different places, you may have heard me say this already. We got the Alabama High School Athletic Sportsmanship Award for the 3rd year in a row. And you may not have a child that's an athlete, but to me that's a big deal because we really promote character, sportsmanship, that kind of stuff. I'm going to talk about that on the next couple of slides. So I was extremely proud. The AHSA was so pleased or so impressed by what we've done that we were one of 8 schools that got it's called an Andrews Sports Grant. 8 schools across the state got selected. We were chosen for District 8, which is Northeast Alabama. We were the school selected in the northeast part of Alabama to win this $1,000 grant. Because that was a big deal to me, so I was very proud of that. We worked hard with our coaches. We didn't have any students, athletes ejected, no fines, nothing like that. So we were very proud of just to have that. And we had a great year overall, athletic department. Football team, we had so many things that hadn't been done in a long time. So we had a great year last year. We want to build on that and have an even better year this year. All right, here's one of my passions. You might not know this about me, but I'm real big on character education. In other words, trying to develop their character, their morals, and I'm not just about coming in and teaching them academics and going home and forgetting about it. That's not enough to me. We have a responsibility and a duty to teach our students and try to mold them and develop them to be better people when they graduate. Because I try to tell our teachers, our students, if you graduate and you have a perfect ACT score, but you haven't learned anything about character or morals or anything like that, we failed. So we're very big on doing character development, character education. So here's some of the stuff we did last year. We started it out last year. We developed and made videos on our core values. So we took the word Douglas and then Eagles, and each letter, like E stands for equity, A stands for accountability. We made these core values. We've shared that. Ms. Cochran and the AV team, they made videos on it. We posted those on Facebook. You might have seen those. And we still have those. We have posters around the school that are really promoting those core values. Now this year we're going to add more character education without implementing. I didn't want to go out and just buy a program and tell our teachers just do this, because that never works. Just slap something on them, it feels like it's more work. We had to really develop something that as a school we were proud of it, we wanted to do it. So like I said, we have a responsibility to teach character as much as academics, because our students, when they come to school, they're going to learn character one way or another. They're going to learn it from the buddies. They're going to learn either good or bad character, whether it's taught or not. So we want to make sure we're intentional in trying to develop that. So our goals for this year, we're going to still use our core values, train our students on that, especially if you have 9th grade. They may not know that yet, but they'll know by the end of the year. We have monthly character award winners. I ask the teachers to nominate students. Tell us who you think should be our character award winner for this month. Tell us why. We kind of go through there and select them. And we're just asking our teachers to find ways every day in their classroom to teach character education, teach morals, to teach these character different traits. So we didn't want to buy a program just to force that on them, but we're trying to develop this kind of as a school. Because I've read tons of research and stuff that shows that what works best is what you develop yourself at your school, and you have more buy-in from your teachers and hopefully from your students. We asked teachers, of course, this is just stuff I shared with the teachers I wanted to share with all our parents, but we asked teachers to send highlights, examples of how they've taught it throughout the year. We'll be sharing stuff on our Facebook page, Twitter. So if you don't follow our Facebook page, you might want to follow that just to see. We post a lot of stuff on that. We always model good character. I share that with our teachers, our coaches, everybody at school. Make sure we're doing a good job of that in the classroom. If you're out in the practice field, we talk to our coaches. They're your example at all times. Make sure you're showing good character. And 2 areas for growth, we're really pushing this year, and that's one of them is, I'm so glad you guys are here, but students' responsibility for academic work. We want them to take more ownership and more responsibility for taking care of their work. Because last couple of years, they've been at home. Some of them been doing virtual. They've had a lot more help. I'll get to it when I get to it. But this year, we really want them to develop that responsibility and take ownership of their work. And also increase in parental involvement. Just steps like tonight, having you guys all here is huge for that, because we want to share all this with you. And we want you to help us when they're at home talk about this kind of stuff. And when we talk about character, here's kind of the domains that we try to teach them. There's 4 different domains. And I shared all this with the teachers before school started. Like moral virtues, like courage, honesty, fairness, kindness. Then you got intellectual ones, that goes along with, especially in the classroom, honesty, not cheating, fairness, open-mindedness, imagination, civic virtues, and we do a lot of that. Ms. Bewalk is here. We have one of the best Veterans Day programs across the state or anywhere I've ever been to. And that does a great job of teaching patriotism, citizenship, school pride, sportsmanship. It all kind of goes together. And then the last one there is enabling virtues, like having our students be punctual, be on time, diligence, cheerfulness, cleanliness. That's a lot of things we have to work on our students, just to get up on time, take care of yourself, have pride in how you look, show up to school, run a comb through your hair, all that stuff. You have to remind high schoolers sometimes to do that. So that's kind of an example of the areas we're working on. And then this is what I wanted to really share with our teachers. To remember, keep this in mind, this is very important, what we want to see out of our school this year. Develop strong bonds and relationships with our students. That's the first thing. If a kid doesn't trust us, they don't get to know us, it doesn't really matter what we do. There's that old saying, they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So we got to develop that relationship with our students before they'll learn in our classroom, before we can teach them anything about morals. And also develop strong bonds with parents. That's something, or guardians, we're really working on that this year. We want to do a better job of that. In the past, a couple of years, COVID was always an excuse, and we don't want to have any kind of barriers to having strong relationships with our parents. Of course, develop classroom rules and expectations for students, be very consistent, and also set up opportunities for students to interact with and learn from each other, because that's big to me. I was a science teacher before I got to administration, and we use a lot of group work, a lot of labs, and that's very powerful stuff to let kids work with each other and learn from each other. If you're just standing up there all day talking to them, and they're sitting there quietly, they're not going to learn a whole lot. But if you give them opportunities to work together and learn that cooperation, learn those kind of skills, that's very important. So, like I said, we're not trying to add more work for our teachers. We just want to make this kind of something that's in their mind. They're looking for it. They'll notice opportunities all the time to do this. So everyone in the building is either a positive or negative example for our students. And we wanted to come up with a name for the whole program, like our core values, our monthly character winners, everything that we do, we want to kind of have a name for our program. We came up with this. It's called Ready to Soar. It's our character and academic initiative. It's working. Of course, character and academics go hand in hand. If you teach kids good character, a lot of times that'll eliminate discipline problems. It'll eliminate attendance problems. It'll eliminate academic problems, because they'll really take ownership. They'll care. They'll want to do things because you're not just bribing them or begging them to do it. They'll have that inside of them that they'll want to do the best that they can do. And SOAR stands for Safety, Others First, Achievement, Responsibility. And we have these posters we put up around the school. Mr. Mitchell made this. He's great with making posters like that. So this looks really awesome. I thought he did a good job. But on the next slide, just real quick, I'm not going to talk the whole time. I've kind of tried to pass it off to somebody else. But safety, really, for our students is not just physical safety. We try to break this up by 9 weeks. So the first 9 weeks we're focused on safety, like safety procedures, just the normal things, the stuff that happened the last couple of years, especially at the end of the year last year in Texas. We wanted to really make sure we focus on keeping our students safe. And we're doing everything we can as far as, implementing programs. We've got people at all entry and exit points trying to make sure everything is safe. And also, not just physical safety, but we want them, mental safety. They come to school and they don't dread coming to school because they think there's somebody there to bully them or pick on them. And we had class meetings last week and we talked about this. I said, please, if you have a problem, if you wake up in the morning and you dread coming to school, come see one of us. We will do everything in our power to fix it. We want every one of our students to wake up in the morning and be happy to come to school. Now, I know every kid doesn't love school, but I don't want them to dread coming to school because they know somebody's waiting on them. They're dread to see, or they think somebody's going to bully them, pick on them. So we want all of our students to feel safe and feel like they belong in our school. Others First, that's kind of all these we're going to work on throughout the year, but kind of broken up by 9 weeks. And Others First is, the second 9 weeks that kind of corresponds with the holidays. So they have a lot of opportunities for service, for thinking about doing things for others. So that was a great opportunity to teach our students to care for others. Then achievement, of course, we want achievement throughout the year. But during the third 9 weeks, that's when we do our ACT testing. And of course, for high schools, that's the biggest test. So that's the time we really want them to focus on achieving, especially our juniors, because they're the ones that take the test, and getting them ready for that test at the end of that 9 weeks. And we also want the students to achieve in other areas. If they're in the band, we want to have the best band program in the state. If they are in ROTC, we want to have the best ROTC program in the state. Our sports, our math team, whatever we're doing, and Mrs. Hall is going to talk about our clubs in a minute, we want them to make sure we have the best possible opportunities for them. And then the last one, responsibility. In the last couple of years, we've had a lot of kids, they got to the end of the year, and then they start begging and pleading and begging us to pass them, and some of them think we're just going to magically pass them on. Because that 1 year we had COVID and shut down, we were told we had to, so a lot of people passed that year that probably shouldn't. But the last couple of years, hopefully they've learned by now, we're not going to just give it to them, they've got to earn it. So they got to learn to be responsible for their, especially our seniors graduating, finishing the year strong, and preparing for their future. So that's kind of an overview of our character education program. So hopefully you'll hear about that this year. And we gave all of them a little red wristband like this that says ready to soar on it. You might have seen that come home. But we gave those to at our class meetings just so they'd all have one of those. So I'm really excited about this because to me, character helps out as far as attendance, like I said, discipline, grades, everything. If our students have really good character, that helps. And I'm not saying we don't. I'm not saying y'all have done a great job. We're very proud of what y'all have instilled. We just want to work with you and help develop and mold them and work with them throughout their high school career and make sure they're all growing and becoming better people just as much as far as academics. Okay, so next, Miss Williams is going to come and talk about graduation requirements.
Okay, I know we have a lot of students also here, so I want to tell students thank you for coming too, because this information is very important for you guys also. Graduation requirements, one of our goals in the counseling office is we're going to get into the classrooms this first semester, and we're going to actually be sharing this information with your students also, with your children. That way they understand this also. In order to graduate from Douglas High School and any public school in the state of Alabama, you must earn 24 credits in specified subjects. This is in our Marshall County Handbook on page 41. It's online now. The new one's updated, so that way you can look at it. And these are some of the requirements. I know it's small, so I'm going to read just a little bit. They have to get those 4 English credits. So 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th, 12th grade, you got to have those 4 English classes, 4 science classes, 4 history or social studies classes. Then you got to have 1 PE. Now PE, sometimes it can count, the JROTC can be used as that requirement. And also band can also be used as that requirement. We have health education. It's usually a half semester. We usually pair it with driver's ed or another half. And then we got career prep. Everybody has to have career prep. And sometimes they have career prep A in 8th grade, and so we can roll it over and complete it out in 9th grade usually. And then our CTE, world language, and our arts education have to have 3 credits of those. And then our electives, you have to have at least 2.5 credits of electives. And most of our electives actually roll in with the arts education, CTE, and foreign languages. So.
Get the next slide.
College and career readiness.
All right, let me talk about this real quick. And there's 6 different ways they can earn a check mark. And, a lot of times, a lot of these opportunities they can't start getting till their junior year. So they're starting their senior year, we have a list. We know exactly who has a check mark as a senior, and we'll be looking at trying to find every way possible to get them one. Now, number 1, benchmark on the ACT. There's 4 different areas on the ACT. They can hit a certain level on any of those, if it's English, if it's math, if it's science. If they hit a certain score, it's called a benchmark, and that would be give them a check mark. If they take an AP course and make a qualifying score, that gives them a check mark. And usually, if they're gonna, we don't get a whole lot that never got an AP qualifying, a check mark from that, because usually if they get that benchmark on the ACT, they're gonna get that before they have the AP qualifying score, because AP tests are difficult. All right, their senior year, this is important. WorkKeys. WorkKeys is an ACT brand type test. And it's really working on like workplace skills and just things they would need to go into the workplace if they went straight into the workforce. So that's a test they'll take in October this year just for our seniors. And we usually have a great number of students get a check mark on that. And what we do, we have them take that test their senior year, and all our students that don't qualify at that point and don't have a check mark, we put them all in the 8th period class where they can work, because they can take the WorkKeys again in the spring. So we really want to work with them, review, push them real hard to get ready for the spring. They'll take it again. Hopefully that time they'll make high enough that they'll get a check mark. If they take a dual enrollment class, and that is, we're going to talk about that hopefully in a minute. Did you have a slide on that? Okay. SNEED has a lot of, you can take dual enrollment classes for free right now. They have scholarships, opportunities. It's never been this easy to take a dual enrollment class. So they're absolutely free right now. They're begging people to take them. So we've had a ton of our students sign up for dual enrollment classes this year. Do you have any idea?
I do not.
I just know we have had a good number of our students do that. So if you got any questions about that, just ask us when it's over. But we have a lot of our students do dual enrollment with SNEED. And they don't have to go to SNEED. They actually, some of the classes, they can take them here. Now, the next one's an industry credential. And that means if they're in the ag program, if they're in Ms. Cochran's, like her business tech program, there's all different ways. If they go to the tech school, they have a lot of different ways they can earn what's called an industry credential. Usually they'll take a test. After they're going through that program, if they pass that test, they'll get a check mark for it. And they have a new thing. Now, I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but it's called a completer program. Basically, I was told that any kid goes to the tech school for 2 years in a row, and they're in the same program, will get a check mark. And it's 3 classes in the same area, right? Career Tech. They will get a check mark for that. So we're very much high and very much support our Career Tech. So we send more students to the tech school daily than any other school in Marshall County Schools. So we love our tech school. We have a great relationship with them. And then the last one is military enlistment. Any student that enrolls in the military, they get a check mark for that. I don't think we had anybody last year, as far as I know, that got that. I don't know why. It was weird. Oh, we did? We had 3. Okay. I'm sorry. Usually we have a good bit. It seemed like last year it was the last minute. We had a few enlist. So that, when you hear us talk about check marks, and the goal is on our school report card. We haven't had one the last couple of years, but we will have a school report card coming out in November. Part of our report card comes from how many of our graduating seniors had a check mark. So that's why we want them to be college or career ready, whatever they want to do. But that's the 6 areas where they can get that check mark. We pushed that real hard, and we were proud of that 86%. So Ms. Cochran, our goal is 90% this year. 90% is hard. I'm pushing them to go higher and higher, but I don't want to push them too hard.
So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the new Douglas High School website. To get there, here's the web address. And you can type it into Google. Type in Douglas High School, Alabama. Make sure you type in Alabama. I believe it still has our old website listed on there. So the best way is just remember marshallk12.org/DHS. I'm going to put a screenshot of this on there, but I know it's difficult to see. Hopefully I won't mess up our slideshow. I'm just going to take you to the actual web page. I can sit here and talk all day about this. It is still very much a work in progress. But my idea, myself and Miss Riggins, our library media specialist, have been working on it, is for this kind of just to be a one spot or one, just have everything that you need here in this one spot. So up here in the top, our school, administration, I'm not going to click on all these, we'll be here all night, but some of the things that we've been talking about, core values are on there, SOAR. If you just want to know our bell schedule. Staff, if I need, hey, how do I get in contact with this teacher? Click on there, it's got their email address on there. Some of these you'll see multiple links. So here's a PowerSchool portal, and then here's another PowerSchool, and then I'll get to this on down at the bottom. But there's, some of these you can get to get there in several different ways. So we've talked about, or somebody will be talking about the handbook here in a minute. So for students, I believe it's under parent resources. If I click on that, it'll take me here to the student handbook. I'm going to go down some very important things. You can see this picture scroll. We'll try to, and upcoming events. There's a calendar here that, again, this is still very much a work in progress. So there's not really much on the upcoming events. I would say probably some of the most important stuff's down here at the bottom are quick links. So PowerSchool, if I want to go, or my student, I don't know, parents, some parents have a login already. I think it's more, if you already have one, you can still use the same one. We're still working on getting things out to parents, but your student, so they click on this link and they can log in. So you can look at their PowerSchool stuff through their account right now if you have to. Google Classroom, you've probably heard that a lot. Again, just click on that link, and if your student has a Chromebook that's already linked to their email, so they click on that button, it's going to take it directly to their Google Classroom, so you can check out their schoolwork. Of course, if their teacher's using Google Classroom. For seniors, Parchment, transcript request. So I think they're going to work with Miss Otinger, who's going to come around to their English classroom and get this set up for them. So when they start to apply for colleges, and I need to go send something off, I'm going to click on Parchment. They'll have to create an account, and I can go ahead. We can have those sent off. So that's what that is. Miss Cochran is always filming everything from us. I make sure to give her a tab, so the AV Club. So I click on it, and it's going to take me to her YouTube channel. Click over here on videos. And I'm sure, here's graduation stuff from last year. You want to watch the Veterans Program or anything. Ms. Bewalk does an awesome job. I think somebody's already said that. Ms. Cochran does a wonderful job filming everything for us. Sports, Dragonfly. This is our athletics. If your child plays, you should know something about Dragonfly. So if I need to, find the link, or I can't find this, just go to our website. There it is. And then GoFan. I want to go watch. I hope everybody's coming to watch the football team on Friday night. Go click on that. Go order your tickets, all right here. Over here on this side, announcements. Miss Murray contacted me today about SGA officer application. So I made a little link. There it is. News. I don't catch all these, but I try to as much as I can. So links to articles. If you don't have a Facebook and you want to know, you heard somebody's pictures on there or something, don't have to have one. Just come to the website. Twitter, same thing. Weather, that's a little iffy, I'll be honest with you. Okay, so to me, the bottom is kind of the most important. Here are links to the other schools if you have more than one child in school here. Again, active, and this is something, again, I worked on athletics, haven't really gotten to the other ones. Somebody's going to talk about clubs here in a minute. But just to touch on athletics for a minute, here's another staff directory of all of our coaches, all of our teams. I haven't even begun getting all that started. Something very important here, Dragonfly. There's another, that word again, so it tells you how to set up an account. Again, this is all under activities and athletics. I'm gonna make one of these little icons for athletics. I haven't figured out how to do it yet because I'm still learning myself. These are important. These required forms that we have to have every year. No telling how many times I've had to print this form off, print that form off. Oh, they got the wrong form, or the doctor's office doesn't have the updated forms. Come to the website, because these will be uploaded every year. Here are the links to the forms. And sportsmanship. All students have to do this one time. Most of them get it finished in middle school. But this sportsmanship test, the instructions for everything are right here. I click on this link, takes me to the test, follow the instructions, and I've handled that. So again, my dream is for this to just be, kind of your one-stop shop for everything that you need for Douglas High School.
I'm gonna say this: Mr. Mitchell's really worked hard this summer. He's done a great. This is an outstanding website. We've known this was coming. The old website, there was a lot of good things about it, but we've really worked on this. So hopefully, our parents will use this because all the information you need to know is on that website. We're really trying to take care of it, make sure it's got nice looking pictures on it. All those pictures are from last year. We didn't want old pictures, so we've got it really updated. It looks good, it looks great, so hopefully everybody will use that website. All right, handbook. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on handbook. It's on, and Marcia, he just showed you how to find it. There wasn't really a good spot for this, but I did want to say we have after-school tutoring. It started today. It's every Tuesday and Thursday from 3 to 4:30, so if you ever need to use that service, it's free. Your child can stay as long as they want. If they don't want to stay till further 4:30, they don't have to. But that is a great opportunity if they need math homework. We have a math teacher every day, or every time we have it on Tuesday and Thursday. On Tuesday, we usually have a second teacher that's social studies, and on Thursday, we have a second teacher that's science. So there's definitely opportunities for them to get after-school tutoring if they want it. Like I said, there's a math teacher there both times. Because we noticed last year they always need math help. So we're trying to get math as available as much as possible. All right, I'm going to go through this real quick. It's all on there. Hopefully you've all signed that little handbook agreement form that we sent home at the start of the year, but I know it's probably, parents don't want to go study and read the handbook every year, but please help us out with these things. Driving policy. All students, they must register their vehicle with the office. We got to make sure they have insurance, driver's license. They have to buy a parking place, which is not, $30, it's not too expensive, and they've got a spot to park. We have grown a lot in the last couple of years, so our parking lot, last year we even sold out. So we just want to make sure we don't sell out. If we do, I'll try to find some more spots where we can park, but we definitely need to take care of that. Dress code, hopefully we haven't made anybody angry yet for dress code, but we have a dress code we have to follow. And it's outlined in the handbook. If you ever want to have any questions about it, please go look at that. Cell phone policy, same thing. I just tell our students and the teachers every year, it feels like a waste of time when we're hunting down cell phones. It's so easy. All they got to do is put them up in class. We're not trying to make their life miserable. I know a lot of, I use my cell phone probably way too much, and you're just tied to it. But they've got to put the cell phones up in class so they can, focus on the teacher and what they're supposed to do, because that cell phone's out, it dings. I know it pulls my attention away when I'm talking to somebody and something dings. I'll look down to check it. And it pulls you're not paying attention, so that hurts them in the classroom. We've got to put those cell phones up. Attendance, very important. Last couple of years, attendance, that's the one area that we struggled with last year. We talked about all the good things that happened as far as test scores and other areas. The one weakness we really had was our attendance. And we've got to do a better job on that this year. I know you guys, probably your children don't have problems with attendance because you're here and you're probably will never have that issue, but we have some parents, I hate to, but it gets to that point where we have to tell them, I'm about to send your name to a judge, and they're going to summons you because your child never goes to school. It's a truancy issue. So that's bad, really. That's really important this year, that we have good attendance, because we've had some students, we just didn't see them for a month. If that happens, they're probably going to get a letter or a phone call from the judge this year, because they're really cranking that back up now. COVID, they've kind of turned a blind eye the last couple of years because of COVID, but that's pretty much over with now. But all those beginning of the year forms, I hope you all saw them. I know you get them, you just sign them off and send them back, but please make sure you sign those forms and send them back, because we really do need those. We have to hunt those down, or we can't move on and have a normal school year without them. All right, Ms. Holland's going to talk about a club.
We want our students to have a great time at school. And one of the ways that they can do that is by joining different clubs and organizations. So I'm going to give you like a very brief. We have a lot of different clubs. We have some new ones that started last year. We have some that you probably have never even heard of. Your child may not even know about them yet. So the AV club is one of Miss Cochran's clubs. Anybody who is a business education student who's shown any kind of interest in AV productions and has the skills to be able to produce is okay to join this club. Okay, they do photography for the school, they film things for us, they work at community events, they do all kinds of things, and they do a really, really good job, and they're also the ones who keep up with and run the DHS AV YouTube channel. FBLA is also a club that Ms. Cochran sponsors, and it's anybody who is interested in careers or business can join. It helps students become successful business and industry leaders, and it teaches them leadership. They go to academic competitions, and they also do some community service. Choir and theater are both Miss Walker, B-Walk. Anyone can join either of these. Our choir is very instrumental in our Veterans Day program. They do Christmas caroling. They do music in our school month. They have a spring concert, and they also can participate in all-state choir. Our theater does productions in the fall and in the spring. So if you've never came and watched a theater production, I encourage you to do that. FCCLA is Miss Gillen. Anyone can join it. They have monthly meetings. They participate in community service, team building, leadership development, and then they also do county, state, and national competitions. Now there are some requirements for some of those competitions, so you do have to meet some requirements to be able to compete, but Ms. Gillen can give your student all the information if they're wanting to compete in FCCLA. FFA is Mr. Brock. Anyone who's in ag class is automatically a member of FFA, and anyone who has previously taken an ag class can remain a member of FFA. They develop leadership, personal growth, and career success, and they are very involved in community service. FCA is also Mr. Brock. Anyone can join. Our FCA at Douglas focuses on serving the community by engaging, equipping, and empowering coaches and athletes to unite and change the world through the gospel. They do a lot of different community service activities. Eagle Pals is a new club from last year, just started last year. The sponsor is Ms. Schaefer. They do have an application process, but any student in 9th through 12th grade can apply to be in this club. They work with students from the Learning Center to try to get them involved in school activities. They help with Special Olympics. They go over there and do different kind of holiday parties with them. They're reading buddies, mentors. They're just really involved in going to the Learning Center with our students with special needs. Ms. Amber is our sponsor of Math Team and Mu Alpha Theta. For Math Team, and these are generally students who are very advanced in math, so they've taken Algebra 2, Advanced Geometry, Pre-Cal, AP Calculus, or SREB Math, and they do math competitions with other schools in our region and other schools in the state. Mu Alpha Theta is an invitation only club, and they have certain national guidelines that the students have to meet. And when the students meet those guidelines, they do invitations to those students to actually join and be inducted. They also offer community service opportunities. Some of our students, you'll see in the next slide, I think it's National Honor Society requires community service. So several of these clubs give those students opportunities to get those hours at school. The Python Club is sponsored by Ms. Lax. Anyone can join it. These are kids who are interested in computer coding and robotics. The Science Club sponsors Ms. Beck. Anyone can join. They volunteer and help with the Veterans Day program. They host meetings, and all the time they have different guest speakers from different science backgrounds speak to the students. They participate in Earth Day activities and then any other activities as allowed. National Honor Society sponsors are Ms. Gentry and Mr. Jones. This again is another invitation only. Students usually get inducted in either 10th, 11th, or 12th grade, and they follow the national guidelines to see who's going to be invited. They are required to continue to meet certain guidelines with their GPA, and they're required to get a certain number of community service hours yearly. The SGA, or student government, is Ms. Murray. Anyone can run for SGA, but the members of the SGA are those that are elected by the student body. All students who actually get on SGA have to have at least a 70 average. They're responsible for making sure the morning announcements are done. They really work hard with Eagle Week, Homecoming Week. They help with the Veterans Day program. They do all different kinds of cereal drives, canned food drives, stuffed animal drives, anything that they can to help out the community. They do a blood drive as well, and they just try to be good leaders in the school. The Tabletop Club, this is another new club that came last year. This club is sponsored by Mr. Jones. Anyone can join it. They stay after school for about an hour on Mondays, and basically they just play different card games, board games, any kind of tabletop game. It gives them a really great opportunity to socialize with other people and have a little bit of fun. The D Club sponsors are Ms. Lyles, Ms. Chaffin, and Ms. Murray. These members of this club have to have lettered in a varsity sport. They help with the Veterans Day program. They do the Senior Heroes Recognition Ceremony. They promote the student section. They try to increase school pride, and they do a really good job at doing that. The History Club sponsor is Mr. Stewart. Anyone can join. They also help with the Veterans Day program. They have club meetings where they'll do history trivia, and they help out with any other activities as we need. They're really good to volunteer to help out. The Spanish Club is Ms. Baker. Students have to have completed Spanish 1 and be taking Spanish 2. This club learns more about the language and culture while having fun. The Book Club does book studies in the library with Ms. Riggins. So anyone is able to join that, and as long as they like reading and doing book studies and discussing those books with others. Peer Helpers sponsor is Mr. Sharpton. This is another club that is a 9 through 12 club, but you do have to do an application. This is where peer helpers are trained in ways to help their peers with coping skills and get through difficult situations. Interact is Ms. Gentry and Ms. Amber. This is a senior club, and it is a club that is by application only. There is an interview basically process, and these students can attend weekly Rotary meetings at Snead State and get to participate in RILA. Scholars Bowl is Mr. Jones. They're actually meeting this Thursday for Scholars Bowl trials, so if your student is interested, that's happening this week. Anyone can try out for the team, and then they attend national academic quiz tournaments. The yearbook is Miss Chaffin. There is an application process for the yearbook. She does prefer students who have been successful in multimedia publication, and they are responsible for the publication of the school yearbook. Marshall County Youth Leadership is another club by Miss Chaffin. This is a club that select students from our school actually get to go to monthly meetings and meet up with students from all the other Marshall County schools to learn a lot more about leadership. The student has to have a 3.0 GPA, but they have to have an application process, and then they cull those down to the ones that they want to interview, and then they do interviews. It's a very competitive club. And they usually do the interviews and pick the students in April. So if you have a student who's going to be a junior or senior next year, then they will need to look out for the application packets around March or April for the next year. The Computer Science Honor Society is a brand new club this year. We've really not gotten it off the ground yet because we only started offering AP Computer Science last year. But the sponsor is Ms. Lax. Students who have taken AP Computer Science and made a B and have a B average can be in the club, and they receive recognition for their success in AP Computer Science and must follow the guidelines including participation in community service to remain in the club. Yeah, it's still there. So those are just a quick rundown of a few of our clubs. We are bringing semester exams back. The last few years because of COVID, we've not had semester exams, so we are going back to semester exams. All of the exams will be comprehensive, and we are having exemptions. So if your student has an A average in a class, and this is per class period, so they may have to take an exam in one class and not have to take it in others. This is also in the student handbook if you want to go and look at it. If they have an A in a class and they have no more than 3 excused absences in that class, they can have 0 unexcused absences, then they can be exempt. And this does include check-ins and check-outs in the absences. If they have a B, they can have no more than 2 excused absences, and if they have a C, they can have no absences. If they have below a 70, they will not be exempt. They have to take the test. So students with a grade below 70 have to take their semester exams. Students with grades above a 70 can elect to take the test if they feel like it's going to improve their average. Exams will be scheduled through the last week of each semester or term for middle and high school students, and semester exams will count as a summative or major grade in the last grading period of each semester. So the second 9 weeks and the fourth 9 weeks is where your semester exam grade will go.
Let me say one thing. I do want to say one thing about semester tests, and we get this call all the time, and people ask, that guideline is set for 3 excused absences, and people always call, there's something that happened in the family, there's somebody's got to go to the hospital, and we really can't make exceptions to that. So I just want to say that we feel terrible, if somebody has to go and be in the hospital for a week, I feel terrible, but it's not really meant to be seen as a punishment that you have to take a semester exam. It's a reward for those that are here that often. So we don't want parents to think we're punishing their child by making them take a semester test if they don't qualify for it, because it's not really a punishment. It's more of a reward for the ones that have that great attendance. So that's just the mindset I think sometimes parents and our students have, is they're being punished. Well, they're not being punished. The semester test is for everybody. We're just rewarding some of them. They don't have to take it because of really good grades and really good attendance. So I just wanted to add that.
Okay, where are seniors? Seniors and senior parents. Yay! First of all, I want to congratulate you just as much as we congratulate your students because you have made it. We just got to push a little bit further to get to May and get across that stage, right? Okay, so a couple of things I'm going to hit, and it's definitely not all of them, but these are just some of the big ones to go over and to discuss. All seniors who are planning to participate in the graduation ceremony. Of course, number one, they've got to meet all those graduation requirements. And then he or she must purchase a cap and gown. This will be done, Miss Gentry, through in the English department. She will be setting things up and sending out that information as soon as possible. I think she's meeting with Mr. Herb Jones on Thursday. So those dates will be coming to you very quickly, and they'll set up dates where you'll actually come in the lunchroom and get to order that cap and gown. It's $100.44, okay, and that is the only thing that is required to be purchased through Herb Jones. Required graduation attire. I really am glad we have that opportunity to go over that with parents because we usually try to go over it with students, and it's still just very hard to get that information out there. For males, we do require a black tie, black dress pants, white button-up shirt, black dress shoes. For females, black dress or dress pantsuit, pearls, and black flat closed-toed shoes. As a senior English teacher last year, I always got the question, Miss Williams, I have these really cool black shoes, and I really want to wear them. They're wedges. We can't do that because our graduation ceremony is on the football field. And I tell them all the time, I do not want them falling on their face and embarrassing themselves on one of the biggest nights of their life up to that day. So that is why we have the no sandals, closed-toed, flat shoes. And it is a formal event, and that is why we have the required graduation attire. If you or anyone you know who does have problems getting any of this, just let us know because we do have people that help out with that. We have the Eagle's Nest. We usually try to fill it full of stuff like that. I do know one of the items that are always the most difficult, and that is a black tie for our males. Everybody waits until May to try to get one, and guys, that's graduation season, and by the time you get there at the end, that black tie is gone. So just make sure, get that one early. And I know I've got 9th, 10th, and 11th grade parents in here too. There's nothing wrong with going ahead and looking at this stuff and putting it in your brain to be remembering. All seniors, like he talked about the work keys, we will take the work keys test on October 7th. It is a 3-part test. Students who pass it will get a check mark. Like he said, if they don't pass it the first time. Now, one thing about it is it's a 3-part test. If they don't pass, like say they pass 2 out of the 3. When the spring, if they don't have, your child does not have to take all 3 of those again. You just have to take the one that they did not pass, okay? And one thing I always told seniors is that this test is very important, not just for our high school, but also for places of employment. Because a lot of places of employment are kind of bringing up this work keys, and they're actually requiring employees coming in to take this test if they've not already taken it. So if they already have it in their back pocket, that's a great thing, whether they're going into the workforce right after high school or whether they're going to wait and go after college. All seniors should join Ms. Gentry's Remind, and that's parents too. I always had a lot of parents that would join my Remind too, that way you could keep in the know. That's a good idea. That way you're making sure that you're getting those announcements and those dates. You can either join it with the Remind app by using the code 8293D4. If you're not using the app, you can join by texting the symbol 8293D4 to the number to 81010. And Ms. Gentry, I'm sure, I know I have some seniors. Has she already gotten that Remind information out to y'all? Okay, so great. But if you do need more of it, then y'all can always ask questions and let us know or contact Ms. Gentry, okay?
And I want to say one other thing about that. Dr. Wigley, our superintendent, she bragged on us because our school was by far had the best dressed, the best graduation ceremony last year. Our students did a great job. We didn't have any issues with them not wanting to follow our guidelines and our rules. And a lot of other schools, they had a lot of issues with it. So I was very proud. I thought we had by far the best graduation ceremony. Our students looked the best, they acted the best. So she bragged on us for that. 11th grade, the big thing for 11th grade is the ACT. That will be coming up later on in the spring. We will be doing things this year during 8th period and other opportunities for them to prepare for that before you leave. If you have a junior, a 9th through 11th grader, we have enough for everybody. I'm going to give you a free, big, thick, official ACT guide to help you prepare and study for it. So all juniors and seniors, and this is another thing, if you're a junior or senior, you can take the ACT an additional 2 times for free. So anytime during their junior year or senior year, they can come to the counselor's office and ask for what's called a fee waiver. And they'll take that, they'll go to the website, they'll sign up to take the ACT, they can take it for free. So before they leave, our expectation is we want our students to take the ACT at least 3 times. Because every time they take it, they get better at it. It's one of those things, the first time you take it, you may not know the format, you're not comfortable with it. Next time you take it, you're more comfortable, you do better. So at least they should take it 3 times before they leave us. And that's for 3 times for free. Because in the spring, they'll take it here, and they have 2 more opportunities to go take it like on Saturday somewhere else. So please take advantage of that. And that's not, it's not available for 9th and 10th grade. We encourage them to take it too, but they'll just have to pay for their own. It's on those waivers are only available for juniors and seniors. 10th grade, not as much really to talk about. 10th grade, they've kind of got a year under their belt in the high school. They kind of know what's going on. They do take the pre-ACT in October, and that's not something we really review or study for or push because the pre-ACT gives us a baseline to see what they need to work on before they take it, the real ACT their junior year. So that will be coming up here in October. All our sophomores will take that. That's the big thing they'll do this year. And also, dual enrollment. You want to come up and tell them a little bit more about dual enrollment?
Okay, like he said earlier, dual enrollment this year, Snead State is actually offering all their fall semester classes for free, which is a great opportunity. It's not guaranteed that they'll be offering those classes in the spring or even next year. They were awarded a grant this year for the fall semester, so that's been amazing. Like he said, we've had tons of our kids who have actually come in and took it. And this year, 10th graders they can actually take dual enrollment courses. A couple of things about it, you do have to have at least a 2.5 GPA. They'll come in, they complete a dual enrollment form, they have to apply to Snead State to become a student, and then they actually have to act like a Snead State College student. And that is one thing I always try to make sure that they understand is whenever you're taking dual enrollment classes, you are with Snead. So they have to register for the classes themselves. They have to communicate with the professors themselves. And there are classes they can take online. Actually, at school here, we put them in a dual enrollment placeholder where they're with Ms. Kilgo so they can work on that. But students that can drive and in person, we can work their schedule out usually so that they can do that also. It is a great opportunity, and it's that we do have right now for the fall semester, especially being free. Yes. All right, we're our freshmen. I know I've got some freshman parents. I got a couple of freshmen here. Oh yeah, now we're getting some raised hands. Okay, great. I know sometimes you may be feeling this, but I know your student probably is feeling this for sure. That overwhelming, the anxiousness just coming into high school as a first year 9th grader, not knowing where you're going. Our campus is huge. So I hope that this first couple of weeks they've kind of been able to acclimate. If not, tell them they can always come see us in the counseling office. One major thing for freshmen, I also taught 9th graders for a long time. I loved my 9th graders. And one thing about freshmen that I learned real quick was one of the best skills that I could teach them in that classroom was to be organized. Because as 9th graders coming in, if they can learn that one skill and they can keep everything in that notebook correct, then they're going to be able to keep up with their work. And that's going to help them to be able to pass those classes. So one thing we can all work together is to help make sure those 9th graders are organized. If you're great at organizing students and you can help somebody else out, that would be great. And if your student needs help with just that one thing, just tell them to come on and come see Ms. Williams, and we'll gladly help them get organized. One big thing about 9th graders coming up from middle school, unlike elementary and middle school, a 9th grader must, just like 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grade, you've got to pass all 4 of those classes. One thing that is often a misconception is that if I just pass reading or math, I'm going to get to go to 10th grade. That's not the case, okay? As a 9th grader, you have to pass your English, math, science, and history, and you have to pass at least 2 of your electives in order to be promoted to 10th grade, Okay, now, does that mean you're held back completely? No, that means if I do fail ninth grade English, in my 10th grade year, I've got two options. I can either go to summer school in that summer school and I can make it up, which is the best option, or option number two, I can go into my 10th grade year knowing that I'm gonna have to double up on English classes. Okay, and that is one thing that a lot of times it shocks ninth graders, and we always try to make sure they understand it in those ninth grade classes, but for some reason, it is a very difficult thing sometimes to understand. So please help pass that word around and make sure that your students around you know. One big thing, Marshall Tech School. We've heard about it. We've heard about our great tech programs we have on campus. Our Marshall Tech School program, ninth graders will get the opportunity to attend tech school in 10th grade. Okay, but one thing I always wanted to make sure my ninth grade students knew were, number one, several of our programs at Tech School, they require an interview process. That will happen at the end of the year. Mr. Buddy Sweat will be coming and he'll be getting in our ninth grade English classes and he'll be presenting, going over a whole lot of this Marshall Tech School information. He does a great job with that. But the biggest thing is, it waits till the end. That interview process usually comes at the end of the year. Students must be at school. Students must be passing their classes. Ninth grade students must be doing those things and not have discipline referrals in order to get to go to the tech school. And so that's one thing that we always, this year we're actually going to get Mr. Buddy Sweat to come into the ninth grade English classrooms early, like first semester. That way we can kind of make sure that all students understand, hey, I've got to do what I'm supposed to do. I've got to hold up my end and I've got to be responsible for me, make sure I'm doing what I'm supposed to do because I want to go to tech. So that was one big thing I did want to go over tonight. And one other thing is, a lot of times another misconception is that if you go to tech school, you're not going to go to college. That is completely false. It does not mean, now we do have a lot of students who they finish tech school and they do go into the workforce and they have good jobs because they have been trained and they get jobs right out of what they've been trained to do, okay? But we also have a lot of students who go to our junior colleges and they take they can either go in the certificate programs or they can even get their 2-year degree, and then they can even go on to 4-year degrees in what they've done. And I know one thing, like with cosmetology, they can go straight to New Beginnings or Aveda, but we also have a lot of students who will finish, get their license, and then they're actually going to go to UAB and be going to become a medical student, but they're working as a cosmetologist to make money in order to pay for that. So that Marshall Tech School, like he said, it's one of the, one of the stars that shine in our county, and it's not, I've worked in other systems and not everybody does have that. So that is a great opportunity for any ninth grader going into 10th grade to look into, and then, like I said, also our tech programs that we have here.
Okay. All right. I hope that this was a help to all of you tonight. We did it about 1 hour and 15 minutes. I didn't want it to last too long because I know those chairs you start to get sore sitting there. So I hope this was a help. I think this is just some of the information we want to share with parents, because a lot of times when we say this stuff, like I say, we're used to saying it, we just don't even think about it, that we haven't shared that as much as we should with our parents. So we are very appreciative that all of you come. And before you leave, if you have a senior, we're going to give you one of these WorkKeys study guides. So I'm going to put these up here. You just pick one up. We bought these. This is about a $25 book to help with the WorkKeys. And if you are 9 through 11, we're going to give you one of these for free. This is about a $30 book, and it's the official ACT prep guide. So we were able to use some of our Title I money for parental involvement. We spent about $2,500 on these books to hand out. So we want to make sure everybody gets one, because we got plenty. We got about 60 of the ACT guides. But if you are a 12th grade parent, I want you to get the WorkKeys. If you're a 9 through 11 parent, get official ACT study guide. And if you're both, you can get one of both, because I think we'll have enough for everybody. But just please get one per family. That way we'll have enough. And before we go, is there any questions? And if you don't feel comfortable asking questions in front of the crowd, we'll hang around for a little while and we'll answer any questions. And again, like I said, this is just something we really want to have better. We want to reach out and involve parents more often. So we want to thank you all for coming. And we appreciate it. We hope we have a great year this year. Like we said at the start, we had a great year last year, but this is one of those steps to make this year even better. So we hope this is even better this year. So like I said, we got books, guides for everybody, free stuff to take home with you, and thank you all for coming.